The planet was quiet, too quiet, with ruined buildings scattered across the dusty landscape. Alex walked carefully through the remains of the abandoned colony, his boots kicking up small clouds of red dust. He had been sent to this remote planet to salvage anything valuable, but the silence made him uneasy. Something about this place felt wrong. As he moved past a collapsed building, he heard a soft, trembling cry. It was faint, almost like a whisper, but it made him stop. Alex froze. Listening carefully, his heart began to race. The sound came again, a small voice calling, "Please, help." Alex looked around, but he saw nothing at first. Only shadows moved in the flickering light. His instincts told him to leave, but the voice sounded so desperate, so human in its fear. He took a cautious step forward, scanning the ruins. Behind a fallen metal beam, he saw her, a small girl, barely taller than his knee, her skin pale with exhaustion and hunger. Her large, glowing eyes stared at him with a mix of fear and hope. She was not human, but there was something familiar in the way she looked at him, something that made Alex's chest tighten. Who are you?" he asked, his voice low, trying not to startle her. The girl's lips trembled as she tried to speak. Finally, she whispered, "Please, save my sister, or we will die." Alex hesitated. His mind raced with questions. Why was she here alone? Was this a trap? Could he trust her? He glanced around the ruins, the wind whistling through broken walls. The shadows seemed to move, and he thought he heard a faint growl from somewhere close. The girl, sensing his hesitation, took a small step forward, her hands trembling. I will belong to you forever, if you save her," she said softly, her words filled with a strange mix of fear and promise. Alex frowned, unsure what she meant, but the desperation in her voice made it impossible to walk away. He took a cautious step closer. "Where is she?" he asked, keeping his voice calm. The girl nodded quickly. "Through the tunnels, under the colony. Please, hurry." Alex's curiosity and concern grew. He knew the colony's tunnels were dangerous, full of collapsed paths and unknown creatures. But leaving the girl here was not an option. He needed to see this through. As they approached the entrance to the tunnels, the girl, who introduced herself as Lyra, explained more about her sister. Her words were broken, full of fear. But Alex understood enough. "My sister, she is trapped. The shelter collapsed. I cannot reach her alone." Alex scanned the dark tunnels, imagining the dangers that could be waiting inside. "It won't be easy," he said, "but I will try." Lyra's small hand brushed his arm, and for a moment, he felt a strange connection. The first step into the tunnels was slow and careful. The darkness was complete, only a few beams of light from above shining on the dusty ground. Alex used his flashlight, the beam cutting through the shadows. They moved quietly, listening to every sound. Every echo of dripping water, every distant rockfall made them tense. Lyra's whisper broke the silence. "We must be careful. The predators, they hunt here." Alex shivered, wondering what kind of creatures could survive in this abandoned place. But he knew turning back was not an option. As they moved deeper, Alex noticed signs of struggle along the walls. Scratches and broken objects suggested someone or something had been here before. The air grew colder, damp and heavy, making each step harder. Suddenly, a low growl echoed from the tunnel ahead. Lyra froze, her small body trembling. "Stay quiet," she whispered, pointing to the shadow moving along the walls. Alex's heart pounded, but he held his ground. He had no choice but to face whatever was coming. Minutes felt like hours as they crept forward, Alex leading the way, Lyra following closely, her trust in him growing with every careful step. The danger around them was real, but the girl's eyes kept him focused. Finally, they reached a narrow opening, a small gap in the tunnel walls that seemed to lead further down. Lyra looked at him, hope shining in her glowing eyes. "My sister, she is there. Please." Alex nodded, swallowing his fear. He knew the real challenge was just beginning, but he could not leave her behind. The bond between them was already forming. Strange and unexplainable, he reached out his hand, and Lyra took it without hesitation. As they stepped into the darkness together, Alex felt a mixture of fear and determination. Whatever lay ahead, he knew this was only the start. The story of the starving alien girl and her sister was about to unfold, and he was now a part of it. And somewhere in the shadows, unseen eyes watched, the danger closing in slowly. The colony held secrets, some deadly, some heartbreaking, and Alex had just stepped into a world he could never leave. The tunnels were darker than Alex had imagined. shadows stretching along the walls like reaching hands. He held his flashlight steady, its weak beam flickering slightly as dust floated in the stale air. Lyra clutched his arm, her small fingers trembling, but her glowing eyes shone with determination. "Follow me," she whispered, her voice almost lost in the echoing silence. "We must move quickly, before they notice us." Alex nodded, unsure what they meant, but trusting her instincts, they moved carefully, every step slow and measured. The tunnel walls were narrow, jagged rocks scraping against Alex's jacket. The air smelled damp and strange, almost metallic. Lyra paused, pointing to scratch marks on the ground. "Predators. They pass here recently," she said, her voice low. Alex felt a chill run down his spine, wondering what kind of creatures could survive in this abandoned colony. Their shadows danced on the walls as they walked, moving with every flicker of his flashlight. A soft growl echoed from deeper in the tunnel, making them both freeze. Lyra whispered hurriedly, "Don't make a sound. They can hear everything." Alex swallowed hard, his heart pounding. He had never felt this tense in his life. The silence was heavy, broken only by their careful breathing and the occasional drip of water from the ceiling. Suddenly, a sharp noise echoed behind them, rocks tumbling down from above. Alex spun around, but saw nothing. Only shadows shifted and vanished into the darkness. Lyra grabbed his hand tightly, dragging him forward. "Keep moving. They are close," she warned. As they reached a wider chamber, the tunnel opened into a collapsed area, filled with broken machinery and alien debris. Alex's flashlight revealed strange symbols etched on the walls, glowing faintly in a soft blue light. Lyra paused, placing her hand gently on one of the marks. "They protect this place. We must be careful." Alex felt a sense of danger he could not ignore, every instinct screaming that they were not alone. He scanned the room, noticing faint movements in the shadows. Something was watching them, waiting, calculating. Lyra led him further into the tunnel, showing small pathways hidden behind rubble. "This way. My sister is trapped here, but it's not safe," she said urgently. Her fear was clear, but so was her courage. Alex admired her bravery. Even in her weak and starving state, a sudden noise made them both jump, a low growl vibrating through the tunnel walls. Alex shined his flashlight toward the sound, and for a brief moment, he saw eyes glowing in the darkness, eyes that were large, feral, and unblinking. "They will attack if they see us. Move slowly," Lyra warned, pulling him along. Alex's pulse raced, but he forced himself to stay calm. Every careful step brought them closer to her sister, but also closer to danger. The tunnel narrowed, forcing them to walk in single file, Alex in front, Lyra behind, her hand on his back, guiding him silently. The growls grew louder, echoing through the tight walls, making it hard to tell how close the predators really were. Suddenly, a shadow lunged from a side tunnel, fast and silent. Alex barely had time to react. He swung his flashlight, the beam hitting the creature, revealing a strange, twisted alien with sharp claws and teeth. Lyra screamed, but Alex stood his ground. The creature hissed and vanished into the darkness, leaving only the echo of its growl. Alex wiped sweat from his forehead, realizing how close they had come to danger. Lyra hugged herself tightly, whispering, "We can't stop. My sister, she needs us." They moved deeper, reaching a part of the tunnels filled with broken walkways and fallen beams. Alex had to climb over debris, careful not to make noise. Lyra followed, her small body moving with surprising agility. "Almost there," she whispered, pointing to a faint light ahead. "The shelter. My sister is inside, but the walls may collapse." Alex nodded, knowing the hardest part was still ahead. As they reached the entrance to the collapsed shelter, the air grew warmer, smells of dust and decay, mixing with something strange, almost alive. The walls were cracked and unstable, some parts barely holding together. Alex took a deep breath, readying himself. "We will get her out, I promise." Lyra looked at him, her eyes full of hope and trust. "Thank you, human. I knew you would help," she whispered softly. Suddenly, the ground shook slightly, small rocks falling from above. The shelter was unstable, threatening to trap them before they even reached her sister. Alex knew every second counted. He had to act fast. Together, they stepped carefully into the ruins, the tension thick around them. Every shadow seemed alive, every noise a potential threat. Alex felt the weight of responsibility, knowing the girl's life and her sister's depended on him. As they disappeared into the darkness, deeper into the heart of the abandoned colony, The growls and movements around them hinted at dangers waiting ahead. The real test was just beginning, and neither Alex nor Lyra could see what awaited them. The shelter was dark and unstable. Broken beams leaning at strange angles. Alex took a careful step inside, the floor groaning under his weight. Lyra clutched his arm tightly, her small hands trembling. "It's this way. My sister is trapped," she whispered, her voice barely audible. The smell of dust and damp filled the air, making it hard to breathe. Alex's flashlight beam revealed twisted metal, cracked walls, and piles of rubble. Every shadow seemed alive, moving as if something waited just out of sight. "Stay close," Alex murmured, his voice firm, trying to hide the fear rising inside him. Lyra nodded, following closely, her eyes wide, scanning every corner. She whispered again, "The ceiling is weak. We must hurry." Alex knelt, examining the rubble blocking a narrow passage. "I need to clear this. Help me lift from here." Lyra nodded, pushing with all her small strength. Together they moved rocks and broken debris, sweat dripping from Alex's forehead. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the shelter, a beam shifting dangerously above them. Alex froze, holding Lyra back. Dust rained down around them as a heavy piece of metal fell just a few feet away. He realized one wrong move could trap them forever. "We have to be careful." "But we can't stop," he said, determination in his voice. Lyra nodded, her glowing eyes shining with trust. Alex took a deep breath and continued, moving each piece of debris with careful precision. A faint groaning sound came from behind the rubble. Alex held his breath, and Lyra leaned closer, whispering, "It's her, my sister. She's alive." Hope surged in Alex's chest, giving him strength. He worked faster, lifting rocks and using his tools to pry the broken metal apart. The shelter trembled slightly, and a small piece of the ceiling fell near Lyra. She gasped, but stayed calm. "Almost there. Please," she pleaded. Alex felt a rush of urgency, knowing time was running out. Finally, he reached the edge of the rubble. Peering through the gap, he saw a young alien, smaller than Lyra, pale and weak, her glowing eyes half closed, trapped under a fallen beam. Alex felt a mix of relief and fear. She was alive, but barely. "Hold on, I'm coming," Alex said. Pushing past the fear, he slid under the gap, careful not to cause more debris to fall. Lyra followed, giving him small pieces of rubble to clear. Each moment felt like an eternity, the tension thick in the air. The trapped sister whimpered softly, her weak voice breaking Alex's heart. "I'm here. I won't leave you," he whispered, reaching her carefully. He lifted the beam enough for her to crawl out. Lyra guided her from the other side, her hands steady and encouraging. The shelter groaned again, threatening to collapse. Dust fell around them as Alex helped the sister to her feet. Lyra hugged her tightly, tears running down her face. "We're together now. We're safe," she whispered, though danger still lurked. Alex stepped back, scanning the room for any more threats. Shadows moved in the corners, and he realized they were not alone. Strange noises echoed from deeper in the shelter, and he knew predators were still nearby. "We have to leave, now," Alex said urgently, helping the sisters toward the exit. The tunnel ahead looked even narrower, more dangerous, but it was their only way out. Lyra led the way, her knowledge of the tunnels proving invaluable. A growl erupted from the shadows, a large predator emerging from the darkness. Alex froze for a moment, then grabbed a broken pipe from the floor. Ready to defend them, Lyra whispered instructions. Left, quick, and they dodged into a small side passage, narrowly escaping once they were a few meters away. Alex helped both sisters climb over fallen beams and debris. Their breathing was heavy, the air thick with dust and tension. Yet, despite the danger, a sense of relief washed over them. They had survived the worst. For now, the sisters hugged each other tightly. Lyra turning to Alex with grateful eyes. "Thank you. You saved her. You saved us both," she whispered, her voice soft but filled with emotion. Alex nodded, realizing the bond between them was growing stronger. Strange and unexplainable, as they emerged from the shelter, the faint light of the alien sky touched their faces. Alex looked at Lyra and her sister, knowing that the real challenges were still ahead. The tunnels had been only the beginning, and the dangers of the colony were far from over. A shadow flickered in the distance, moving silently among the ruins. Alex's heart sank, knowing that their struggle was not yet done. But for now, they had each other, and the courage to face whatever came next. Together, they stepped carefully toward the open tunnels. Hope and fear intertwined. The rescue had been successful, But the journey was just beginning, and somewhere in the darkness, unseen eyes watched them closely, waiting for the right moment to strike. The cavern opened up into a wide underground chamber, the walls glowing faintly with alien symbols. Alex's flashlight flickered against the smooth stone, revealing strange markings that pulsed like a heartbeat. Lyra held her sister close, her small body trembling, but her eyes were determined. "We're safe here. For now," Alex whispered, scanning the cavern for signs of danger. The faint echoes suggested they were not entirely alone, but at least the immediate threat of predators had passed. Lyra nodded, still holding her sister tightly. "Thank you, human, for saving us," Lyra said softly, her voice filled with sincerity. Alex felt a strange warmth in his chest, seeing the trust in her eyes. It was a bond that went beyond words, fragile but powerful. Lyra led them deeper into the chamber, showing Alex small alien devices embedded in the walls. "These can protect us, help us move faster," she explained, pointing to a panel that glowed with soft light. Alex studied it, amazed at the technology, realizing they could use it to escape the tunnels more safely. "Where did you learn to use these?" he asked, curiosity and awe in his voice. Lyra hesitated for a moment, then smiled faintly. "My people, we are trained to survive, to protect each other, but most are gone now." Her words carried sadness, but also strength. Alex felt the weight of responsibility, knowing they were relying on each other. The sisters were trusting him not just with their lives, but with their future. "I'll keep you safe, I promise," he said firmly, and Lyra's gaze softened with gratitude. Suddenly, a distant sound echoed through the chamber, a low rumble that made the ground tremble slightly. Alex stiffened, recognizing it immediately. "Predators, or worse," he muttered. Lyra stepped closer, her small hand brushing his arm. "We can handle them together." Alex nodded, appreciating her courage. Lyra guided him to a hidden path in the cavern, a narrow tunnel marked with glowing symbols that seemed to lead toward the surface. "This way, it's faster, but dangerous," she warned. As they moved, Lyra explained more about her people, her sister listening quietly. "We are few now, scattered, some lost to the predators, some trapped in other colonies. We survive by trust, by loyalty." Alex absorbed every word, realizing that this journey was about more than escape. It was about building bonds stronger than fear. The cavern narrowed suddenly, forcing them to move in single file. Alex in front, the sisters following closely. Every echo of dripping water and shifting rock made their hearts pound. The predators were still out there, lurking, waiting for a mistake. Lyra paused, pressing a small device to the wall, causing a section to slide open silently, revealing a hidden passage. Alex's eyes widened, impressed. "How did you find this?" he whispered, and Lyra smiled faintly. "I know these tunnels. My sister and I, we survived by remembering every path." They entered the secret passage, moving quickly but carefully. Alex noticed the strange energy flowing through the walls, faint but powerful. Lyra's hand brushed against it, and she closed her eyes, as if drawing strength from the alien power. Suddenly, a shadow moved across the passage, large and fast. Alex tensed, but Lyra reacted instantly, pressing a small panel on the wall, activating a hidden shield of light that caused the shadow to hesitate, then retreat. Alex stared, amazed. "You saved us again," he whispered, and Lyra nodded humbly. "We protect each other, always." As they continued, the cavern opened into a larger chamber filled with strange, glowing flora, alien plants that emitted a soft, comforting light. The atmosphere felt almost alive, calming their fears slightly. Alex glanced at the sisters, who smiled faintly, feeling safer here than anywhere else. Lyra led them to a small resting area, her sister sitting carefully on a ledge. "We need to rest, just for a moment, then we move on," she explained. Alex nodded, understanding the importance of conserving strength. While they rested, Alex reflected on everything he had seen. The courage of the sisters, the strange beauty of the alien technology, and the bond forming between them. He realized that this journey was changing him, teaching him trust, loyalty, and the meaning of true courage. Lyra looked at him, her glowing eyes soft. "You saved us, and now we will help you. Whatever comes next, we are together." Her words carried a promise, not just of loyalty, but of partnership, of shared purpose. A faint rumble echoed from the cavern entrance, reminding them that danger was never far away. Alex stood, taking a deep breath. "Then let's keep moving. We face it together." Lyra and her sister nodded, their faces filled with determination. As they prepared to leave the sanctuary of the cavern, Alex realized that their trust was now unbreakable. The sisters were not just survivors, they were partners, allies in a world full of unknown dangers. Their bond would guide them through whatever challenges awaited. And somewhere in the darkness beyond the glowing chamber, unseen eyes watched, waiting for the right moment to strike. The real test of trust and loyalty was only beginning, and Alex knew they would need every ounce of courage to survive. The cavern's glow faded behind them as Alex, Lyra, and her sister stepped into the open ruins outside. The pale light of the alien sky touched their faces, casting long shadows on the cracked, dusty ground. Alex took a deep breath, feeling a strange mix of relief and tension. Lyra held her sister's hand tightly, her glowing eyes scanning the horizon. "We made it. For now," she whispered, but Alex could sense the fear still lingering beneath her calm words. The predators might be gone, but the colony itself was still dangerous, unstable, and full of secrets. Alex looked around at the crumbling buildings, remnants of a civilization long gone. "We have to keep moving," he said firmly. "It's not over yet." Lyra nodded, her small body tense but ready. She glanced at her sister, whispering softly, "We survived the tunnels. We can survive what comes next." As they walked through the ruins, Alex noticed the strange alien flora growing in cracks and corners, glowing softly in the dim light. It reminded him that life, even on this abandoned planet, found a way to continue, just like Lyra and her sister, fighting to survive against impossible odds. Suddenly, a shadow passed across the horizon, massive and fast. Alex froze, his instinct screaming danger. Lyra tugged him behind a fallen wall, whispering, "Something's coming. Something big." The shadow moved closer, revealing the silhouette of a massive alien ship hovering above the ruins, its engines humming softly. Alex's heart raced, unsure if it was friend or foe. Lyra's sister whispered fearfully, "What is that?" Lyra's eyes narrowed, scanning the ship. "We don't know, but we must stay hidden. For now," she said, determination in her voice. Alex realized that the world beyond the tunnels was even more dangerous than he had imagined. Yet he also felt a strange hope, knowing the sisters trusted him completely. He had become more than a stranger or rescuer. He was now a protector, an ally, and perhaps even a friend. They moved carefully, staying low and hidden among the ruins. The ship passed silently overhead, its shadow stretching across the cracked ground. Every sound, every movement made Alex's heart pound, but he forced himself to stay calm. He could not afford panic, not with the sisters depending on him. After what felt like hours, the ship moved away, leaving only the soft alien wind behind. Alex exhaled slowly, relief washing over him. Lyra and her sister hugged each other tightly, their small bodies shaking with exhaustion and fear. Alex placed a reassuring hand on Lyra's shoulder. "We're not safe yet, but we're alive," he said, as they walked further. Lyra pointed to the distant horizon, where faint lights suggested another settlement. There may be others, survivors. "People like us," she said softly, hope in her voice. Alex nodded, understanding that this was just the beginning of a larger journey. The sisters shared stories quietly as they walked, Alex listening carefully, learning about their people, their culture, and the losses they had suffered. Each word strengthened his resolve, reminding him why he could not leave them behind. The bond between them had grown unbreakable, rooted in trust, survival, and loyalty. A soft breeze carried the scent of alien flowers, and Alex felt something he had not expected on this harsh planet. Peace, fleeting but real. Lyra looked at him, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you, for believing in us, for saving us," she whispered. Alex smiled faintly, the weight of exhaustion pressing down on him. "We believe in each other. That's how we survive," he said. And for the first time since he arrived on this planet, he felt a spark of hope for the future. As the trio moved toward the horizon, the massive alien ship appeared again, far above them, silent but watching. Alex knew that their journey would not be easy, but he also knew that together they could face whatever came next. Each step forward was a step toward survival, toward discovery, and toward a future filled with both danger and wonder. The sisters held on to each other and Alex, walking into the soft alien light, leaving the ruins behind. The wind whispered through the broken buildings, carrying the promise of adventures yet to come. And though the dangers of the colony were far from over, one truth was clear: human and alien could stand together. Against all odds, Alex glanced at Lyra and her sister, feeling a strange sense of pride and protectiveness. "We'll find safety, and more, together," he said softly. The sisters nodded, their faces determined, their eyes full of hope. The alien sky stretched above them, vast and mysterious, full of unseen worlds and unknown dangers, and as they disappeared toward the distant lights on the horizon, the story of their survival, courage, and trust had only just begun. Somewhere in the shadows, unseen eyes watched, waiting for the right moment, but the bond between human and alien was now stronger than fear, stronger than danger, stronger than the unknown, and the journey ahead promised more challenges, discoveries, and unforgettable adventures.